welcome to the very first episode of the Braves Hip Coil. So, today I am with Ken from Hardcore Braves. Ken, welcome aboard and thank you for joining me today.
Good to be here, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Braves are starting off pretty good this season, 8-5. They're first in the NL East. And for all you Braves fans, this is going to be your central for hitting talk. This is baseball hitting talk. This is going to be where we're going to do some breakdowns of hitters, and I'm also going to try to do basically a hitters meeting, if you will, before every series and what I see from the opposing pitchers and what I think our guys should be doing offensively. But I think the first order of business, Ken, is that everybody's kind of complaining about the offense, but I think they may be surprised where this offense actually ranks. What do you think?
I believe so. They're really actually doing pretty good, especially with their two of their bigger guns struggling to get out of the gate. Their numbers are excellent. I'm sure you got them and going to tell them, but what I see is a ball team that's found a way to score a lot of runs. The last series they scored 17 runs in 3 games, and that wins a lot of ball games.
That's going to win you at least 2 out of 3 if you're in a 3-game series.
Correct.
But let's get into the offensive category. So this is just going to be standard. We're not going to mention any StatCast stuff. So the standard, Braves obviously 8-5, first in the NL East. That's first most important is obviously the overall record, in my opinion. And then let's talk about runs scored. The Braves have scored 66 runs this year. That is 5th in Major League Baseball. And they also have the 5th most hits at 112. Also, home runs, they have 17. That's number 2 in Major League Baseball. Their batting average, their OBP, their slug is all in the top 10. OPS and OPS Plus are both in the top 10. And the only thing they're kind of really struggling is walks. And they're still 13th in the MLB, so they're still middle of the pack in walks. What you think, Ken?
This sounds about right. When you're watching the games, I feel like they're definitely a top, even with the guys struggling, they're top 5, top 6 offense in baseball. It does not surprise me. And, luckily the pitching has been good for them. I think that's why the record is. But one of the things that's interesting, Braves fans always want to score other ways, but when the Braves hit home runs, they are a machine. It just somehow ignites them. So you give them the fact they're already second in MLB in home runs. That's where we're at in 23, 22, 21. We were high up in home runs last year. We struggled in home runs, and we didn't score as many runs. So Braves fans, we want to hit a home run. Our guys can hit home runs. Let them hit home runs. So, and being middle of the pack in walks, that's kind of okay. I'd like to be top 10 in that too, but the numbers sound pretty good to me.
I agree. And I want you guys to understand we're probably not going to be top 5 in walks very often just because we got pretty aggressive hitters such as Ozzie Albies, such as Michael Harris, who aren't going to take as many walks as Matt Olson or Ronald when Ronald's right. But I digress. Another important fact is we still, as a team, are 6th in OPS and, oh yes, 7th in OPS plus, and that is basically without Ronald Acuna Jr. and Austin Riley doing any damage. Ken, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's where Braves fans should be happy. Some guys that we wouldn't really counting on to be over 800 OPS guys or over 800. Mauricio Dubon has had a great start to the year. Matt Olson, one of the writers today threw out a number. Matt normally is not terrible in April. He normally, though, is not this good in April. He's a little bit better than he normally is. So that has helped. And, of course, Drake Baldwin has been excellent. Yes, he's been the machine. So if Riley and Acuna, which they last couple of games look like they're kind of getting their legs under them, they get going, I would not be surprised if this offense jumps up in those categories.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. And just because everybody has been saying, well, we are absolutely terrible with runners in the scoring position. Well, we're going to pull up baseball reference. So let's take a look, Ken. And just so everybody knows, this is 2026 Major League Baseball season. If you're on YouTube, which you should be because that's the only place this is going to be for right now, you can see 2026. The Braves are ranked overall the 14th team, so they're middle of the pack with runners in scoring position. I don't think that is terrible. Ken, how about you?
No, you want to be top 10, but they're close enough. And again, I'm going to keep harping on it, but I would say two of our five big guns have not really done a lot this year, and to be 14, so I fully expect them to be a top 10 team or in risk this year. There are a lot of good signs. There are a lot of guys who can actually do some damage. We're not hitting home runs like Dubon, Yaz, some of those, and of course Kim's coming, and he'll do the same thing. And so I think we can be a top 10 team, and if we're a top 10 team with runners in scoring position and the way we hit home runs, we're going to score a ton of runs this year.
Yeah, I mean, and even in the Angels series, they found a good bit of ways to score runs without the long ball. I mean, we hit our decent amount of long balls in the series, but most of them were solo shots. I think except the Matt Olson one where it was the 2-run homer. So the Braves are scoring runs without having to rely on the home run ball, which is definitely a nice change of pace for sure. But I agree with you. This offense, it definitely goes a lot better when the home run ball is in play for sure, no doubt. All
Yeah.
right. So we're going to roll on into our next segment, and that is called Ryan's Rakes. So we are going to see who has really been hitting the ball and also who's not really raking. We're going to see who's not so hot right now. First up, first order of business is going to be Drake Baldwin. He has been absolutely on fire to start the year. Ken, he is slashing 321, a 390 OBP, and a 623 slugging percentage. What you got on Drake?
Dre's kind of edging himself up in the top five MVP. He can put these numbers together. Let's not put that pressure on him yet, but it just seems like every at bat he has, even when he makes an out, is a good at bat. Every at bat, he makes the pitchers work. He's not afraid to get down 0 and 2, which a lot of hitters struggle with. He does not. And he uses all parts of the ballpark. And for Braves fans, yes, that does sound like Freddie Freeman. And we're not saying he's going to have a Hall of Fame career yet, but he sure has a beautiful approach at the plate. And when he hits the ball, it normally is hard. I don't see many balls. You can correct me here, Ryan. I don't see many balls ever under 85 miles an hour that he hits. He hits everything pretty solid. So it does not surprise me that he has got near 1,000 OPS already.
Nah, Drake's he is by far, and if you want to get upset, get upset. He is by far the best pure hitter that we have had here in Atlanta in quite some time. Freddie Freeman was a very good hitter. I think Drake out right now in his career where Freddie was when Freddie came up, he's already past Freddie in that stage of his career, if that makes sense.
Well, if Freddie may not have this power that Drake's already shown in his second year, but they're just you're picking what kind of different apple you want. They are really both great hitters, and of course Braves fans, as we most of us have been trying to tell y'all for 3 years prior that this was the next Brian McCann coming. He's got that similar stroke, the same. He can really hit, and that's really a better comp for Drake. But we don't get this many pure hitters in Atlanta. We do get a lot of slug in Atlanta, and that's been through old schools. Y'all know this. It's been since the 1970s. Even the year we had four guys hit 40 home runs, so we've always had slug in Atlanta. That's why it's Hank Aaron's town, and but this is a special talent, and hopefully, not to get off the hitting part, but hopefully we do lock him up to an extension because I like to see him play in Atlanta his whole career.
I absolutely agree with you on that. The next hitter who has been raking, Matt Olson. As you mentioned earlier, again, he is slashing 280 with a 368 OBP and a 580 slugging percentage. That's your
Yeah,
boy right there.
that's my boy. Anybody knows me knows that's my favorite Brave now because I've known him for a long time. Like I said, he's normally not as bad as people like to make out on social media because they expect so much out of him. And I've always thought if he would have come up and not be replacing Freddie Freeman with the expectations be as high as they are from that, the way he's handled it, and he in the spring showed everybody what a monster spring, which he never has. That he doesn't have. He was going to have a good year, and I can't wait. And I know both me and you in our season prediction on hardcore both thought he could get near 50 homers and 100 RBIs. And hell, he's going to make a run at it because he's off to a great start.
It's also a fantastic start. I think Matt Olson. Me and you were talking about this in our chat yesterday, even that Matt Olson has kind of become. He's not Freddie Freeman, but he's replaced that role for me anyway. He has been Mr. Consistency. He's going to be in the lineup every single day at first base. He's giving you Gold Glove defense. And oh yeah, by the way, is there anybody else that you would rather have, maybe other than Drake Baldwin in a clutch situation, than Matt Olson?
No, I'm telling you right now, when this lineup gets flipped, especially when Ronnie gets going, I can't think of another lineup in baseball that has those three. I feel like one of those three is going to knock in a run. So, and here's the interesting part. I agree with Matt and the fans. The first year back, I thought there was a lot of he's not very good. We miss Freddie. The next year, a little bit less, a little bit less. You don't hear that much anymore. I don't. We love Freddie. He was a great Atlanta Brave. We won a world championship with him. But I think the majority of this fan base has moved on from Freddie Freeman. And I think that they now in the Matt Olson category, and it makes somebody who loves him as much as I do happy when I hear the people on social media says that's my first baseman because I know it's a market for Freddie, and Freddie's a great guy too. But I think Matt has won the hearts of Braves fans all around the country.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. And by the way, if you weren't on the Matt Olson train after he popped, how many home runs was it? 53, 54, something like that? If you
Yeah,
weren't on the Matt Olson train at that point, don't even get on now, man.
no,
Just stay over there loving Freddie, which is fine. You can do that, but I'm going to enjoy my first baseman right now.
me too.
Mo- Moving on to the last hitter who is absolutely raking, Ken. And it's somebody that you probably don't even expect, who just does it so quietly, and he just puts his little contributions in here and there, and he's just sneaky good. Mauricio Dubon. 333 average, a 362 OBP, and a 5.56 slugging percentage. Ken, I know you love this guy. Talk to me about him.
Yeah, when we traded for him, I got absolutely murdered on Twitter when I said we don't need another shortstop. And I'm not saying he is our starting shortstop, but I know what he is. And anybody who's ever played DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports, DraftKings, FanDuel, loves Mauricio Dubon. He's always cheap. Nobody ever knows how good he is, and all he does is score points. And that's what the Braves fans are seeing early. He finds ways to contribute. So even like yesterday's game against the Angels, well, game, he only had one hit, but back on it was a double for two RBIs. He's just and he barreled up a couple other balls really nicely. He could have had a couple more hits, but that's what he does. And we went talking about the risk and how we're middle of the pack, and we have two guys struggling. Part of the reason we're middle of the pack is because of Mauricio Dubon. So, and he will do that all year long, guys. This is not now. I'm not saying he's going to be a 900 OPS, but get used to him hitting like this in the clutch. He's going to have he's human. He's going to have a bad week here and there, but this guy can hit. And when he gets to finally just basically show Atlanta when it gets these big gains with coming up, and he comes up, expect like used to be with Dansby. Dansby was so much better when guys on base than he was with guys off base. And this will be the way Mauricio Dubon is. He's going to get big hits for y'all this year. And maybe y'all need to start looking around for the new 1-4 jersey. That's the number. That's by the way, that's his number, guys. Y'all don't know 14. Buy 14 jersey because we're going to sign him to an extension. I feel like he'll be here for a couple more years.
If we don't, I got some serious questions for Alex Anthopoulos because I mean, look if he is a 650 OPS plus or a 650 OPS guy, I mean he still is going to provide you that value alone in just his defense. But we are going to do a breakdown. Also, that's coming out next week. It's going to be on Dubon, and you're going to see why I think he's going to be at least a 720 to a 750 at the floor OPS guy. But I like him a lot. He plays all those positions with Gold Glove defense. He's been really big for the bat at the bottom of the lineup, helping flip the lineup over. It's been a much needed addition to this team, and he's bat to ball. He puts the ball in play, and that's something we've also been missing a good bit. So
Yeah, yeah, and then people don't realize how he does have a lot of pop too. He can get the ball out of the ballpark. Braves fans are already finding that out. He's sneaky. He'll hit. He's not a big guy either. He's a wiry guy, and when he hits, but he hits it in barrels that he can hit it a long way too. That one he hit in, I think it was Arizona. Hit one that was in that deep left field, left center corner. That was a bomb.
that
That's
was
a bomb. Yeah,
that was a good poke.
yeah,
For sure he maximizes his body when he knows how to use his body to maximize his output.
I
He's
agree.
he's a great player.
Yep.
All right, on to the next segment. Who's not raking? This is the more depressing of the two categories. Ken, let's go ahead and start with him. Everybody already knows. We've talked about it on the pod on Hardcore Braves. There are good signs though that Big Thick is coming around, so let's not crucify him like we have been doing. I'm looking at you, X. I'm looking at you. All right. Austin Riley is slashing 200, 308, and a 244. He has not been it's just not a good start for Big Thick. Ken, what you got on him?
Well, he was searching, and when he gets to guessing, Chipper tells him all the time when he gets to guessing, he then tends to be pull happy. And the best sign that we got uh, last couple of days, he's hitting hard outs to center and right field. When he starts doing that, he's starting to figure it out. And Ryan did a great segment on him and his swing, and he is so right. He has to hunt the fastball. He can't guess. And he crushes when he's hunting the fastball. He absolutely murders sliders. So why he tries to get in his head like that, that's Austin. Now, in his defense, we've all noticed since his hitting coach passed away, he's had this struggle. So, but I think that Walt is the kind of manager because him being a player in the major leagues maybe can help him get through this, and you can see some progression. But he has struggled guessing at pitches, and he was taking fastballs right down the middle and swinging at balls a foot outside. So it does not surprise me he's on the not rakes category. But I don't know how often Ryan's going to do this, but I would be not surprised if he's on the rakes part next time we do this.
To answer your question, Ken, and amongst others for you guys, we're probably going to do this once a week. I don't see the point in doing it every series just because things a series is a very small sample size, but once you get to 6 games, that's about 30 at bats. That's a lengthy sample size, so that's when we'll do the segment again. But I'm with you, Ken. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out on the YouTube channel at Braves Hip Coil. It's very good. I thought it was good personally, and I'm very hard on my own editing and video creation. So, but 100% Big Thick was guessing. He wasn't hunting his windows. He wasn't hunting the fastball. He started doing that a lot better the last 2 games. And I think the best sign was the 106-mile-an-hour line drive to right field that he hit. And also on top of that, I think his last ball in play that he hit in Anaheim was off a 99-mile-an-hour sinker that he roped to Mike Trout in center field. So really good signs for Riley. Number 2, and I think this may surprise some of you guys, Ronald Acuna Jr., a 204 batting average, a 310 OBP, and a 265 slugging percentage. Ken, what have you been seeing out of Mr. Acuna?
Well, first of all, he's a very slow starter. We know that, and I think a lot of it because he does play winter ball. And me and you've discussed outside, and we've also discussed with other people in the baseball industry that maybe he don't get as good a pitching, and maybe he don't get as good of practice as he needs, and he comes out kind of sluggish when he starts seeing 98, 99. He don't see that in winter ball as much, and especially the off speed. And the biggest thing with Ronald is the way to get Ronald out. He doesn't like to pitch inside, and in his defense, he's a slow starter, but also in his defense, he has had some guys who know how to pitch. Let's go to the first series. He got Waka, Lugo, and Reagans, especially Waka and Lugo, know how to throw that fastball up and in and then throw something off speed away. So he's had, some guys that can be tough. Soriano this past Monday, it's a very difficult ride. But the good thing about it is uh, uh, we've seen stats come out. They always put the stats out when we finish series. He has had a lot more barrels lately, so he should get there. But his whole thing is to me is his hand placement gets off sometimes, and his hands do funny stuff when he could. I think he's really worried about the pitch inside, and it gets him. He just gets him off kiltered, and I think that's something he can work on. And I think the day off coming today was good for him to adjust, and hopefully he's got an interesting ride this weekend. I know you're going to get to that, but he's got a chance to really break out this weekend if he'll really study up here, in my opinion.
I agree. I think it could be, it's either going to be a very good weekend or a very not good weekend for our hitters, and we're going to get into that later. So stay tuned, chat. All right. From Ronald, from what I'm seeing, he's barreling the off speed more than he is the fastball, Ken. And we mentioned he doesn't like the ball inside. I think that's been very well documented. I put out a video on X this year that he opened his stance up a little bit to kind of counter that. And he did really good in the World Baseball Classic with it. He did great in spring training with it. But as you know, guys don't really start throwing 98 miles an hour until the bell rings in opening day. And he's a little bit off right now. From what I am seeing, he is late getting his hands loaded. He is still loading his hands as he begins to swing. Some hitters can do that, and that's fine. But normally, most hitters like to have their hands completely loaded before they begin their swing. That allows the barrel to get on plane on time, and it allows him to make good contact consistently. Right now, the reason why you're seeing him late on 93 miles an hour is because he can't get the bat into the zone quick enough because he is late loading. So we will see what adjustments he makes this series. The last guy on our list, Mike Yastrzemski. He's hitting 211 with a 318 OBP and a 316 slugging percentage. Ken, what you got on Yaz?
I think Yaz is a natural progression with he's so hot in the spring. I think it's the natural progression with Yaz where he's just in one of these slumps. And when he starts swinging through fastballs like he did this series against the Angels, that's very unlike him from a right-handed pitcher. And he's definitely somebody that I think we don't need to hit the panic button yet, like some I've seen some on Twitter do already. But the reason why is he was scorching way beyond what he normally does in spring, and sometimes you see that where guys are just absolutely scorching in the spring, and then they somehow have a bad April. So let's give him a week or two and see where he kind of balances out at. But Yaz also has not played as much as he's played lately this month in a while. It's been a while. Yaz got really kind of relegated to a very part-time role in San Francisco, and then he kind of did that in Kansas City. So I think it's just getting his legs under him. And I think you see a guy that the 13 game stretch affected more than anybody was Mike Yastrzemski. As that games kept going on, he got worse, and he really needed some a day off. And so we'll see how this series goes. This is a tough ride for him. This series too, just because of the assortment they throw, it can be difficult on left-handers. So let's hope he gets his mind right and can have a good series this weekend.
Yeah, he definitely had a tough series. I mean, kind of starting back in Arizona too. I noticed he had a little bit of what Alston described as a hip slide. So what I mean by that is he wasn't firming his front hip because normally hitters they'll firm that front leg up to keep their momentum back so they can put it into the baseball. Instead, some of it was leaking. You could see his front hip kind of angle up, which causes you to dip your shoulders. Which, if you're dipping your shoulders, Ken, barrel's going underneath the ball and you're missing the fastball right down the middle. So I don't expect that to be too long for Yaz. I'm sure he already knows it's a problem. I'm sure he's working on it. All right. Next segment. This is going to be the fun stuff, chat. This is the hitters meeting. So we're going to go through all the starting pitchers and the two big boys in the bullpen. We're going to break down their pitches, and we're going to break down what the hitters should be looking for on each side of the plate because it's going to be different from left-handed versus right-handed. Ken, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna let you pronounce the first one just because I got South Georgia education here. Ken, go right ahead.
His name is Saccone. and he's a very he's going to be a tough ride. He's a good pitcher, so I know you want to break him down, but his name is Saccone.
All right, so we got Saccone. In my opinion, his best pitch is going to be the sweeper. And just for you guys, I'm going to kind of pull up some stuff that you can look at on this gentleman that we have. Let's pull it up. All right, Slade Saccone. His pitch data right here. He's got a four-seamer, he's got a cutter, he's got a curveball, and he has a sweeper. And in my opinion, his best pitch, and even the analytics backed it up. I was watching this on video. He's got a pretty good sweeper. His fastball is not anything that's going to blow you away at all. It's 92 to 94. He's got average vertical break, which means the ball kind of presents itself that it is rising. Let's see. He's got the cutter. The cutter's okay. I didn't see anything special with it personally. It's more like a slider from what I saw. But he's really inconsistent with the location and movement, and the pitch tends to flatten out a lot, and it becomes very hittable. The curveball is a strikeout pitch. It has really good break. It's not quite elite, and he's gonna start it in the zone, and it's gonna have a really good possibility of breaking out of the zone if it starts at the correct plane, and it's gonna tunnel really well with his fastball. You're gonna notice a lot of these Guardians pitchers like attacking at the top of the zone, and Saccone is no different. He attacks at the very top of the strike zone. So let me go ahead and scroll down here for you guys so you can see a little bit of that. As you can see, his fastball, he likes to go right at the top of the zone. His sinker, he doesn't throw much. His sweeper, he doesn't throw much, but he should. I think that's his best pitch. So, Ken, what you got on Saccone? You are the pitching guru here.
I would also have him throw the sweeper a little bit more. I do like his curveball. He's interesting. He can actually strike you out with a hanging curve, which is really interesting because he does throw it on the same path as his fastball. For me, he's got a little bit of Lugo in it, and that could scare Braves fans a little bit. And the fact, but he don't have Lugo's experience, so that's an advantage to us. I think our hitters. I know you get into it, but for me, I would go ahead and, if I was his pitching coach, would tell him to go ahead and keep his stuff up, but be wary that the Braves have decided to lay off of everything belt high and lower. So the pitch is not coming belt high and up. Just spit on it because you want to actually kind of keep him up in the zone because if you start swinging the stuff thigh high, it's probably going to be at your foot when it gets there if he figures that out. So it's a kind of a simple pitcher to hit to me as far as uh, how you attack him. Now, the way he throws is difficult. And if he decides to throw the sweeper more, I think it really would balance him out. And I think he could really frustrate our right handed hitters with it. Whether he does that Friday night, we'll see. But if I'm the Braves, I am going to say anything lower thigh down, I'm just going to spit on. It's probably going to be out of the zone anyhow. So that's how my take on him is.
I agree right with you, Ken. I was looking at the data and I was like, yeah, that's going to be my approach. I'm going to eliminate anything that's going to start at the belt. Anything belt below, I'm not swinging at. You got to see this guy up in the zone. Look, his fastball it averages 93 miles an hour. It's not going to be anything that blows you away. So you can get to the fastball up. It's not going to completely. It doesn't look like it's going to fully rise, but it's going to maintain its plane fairly well. His secondary pitches, again, his curveball, I think is going to be his out pitch. The cutter is not very good, in my opinion. It's a slider, and he doesn't have great command of it. So you're going to see a lot of the breaking ball. So if you get that pitch to start up as well, it's probably going to stay in the zone where you can mash it. Because when curveballs start up, Ken, as you've probably seen multiple times in your career as a coach, those balls don't come back very often. So hitters, attack the fastball and curveball up in the zone. And if you get anything that starts at the belt and below, just take it until you get behind in the count. And don't be afraid to get deep into the count because even if you keep your approach of, okay, I'm going to look fastball and I'm going to adjust, you can still get a base hit and you can still work a really good at bat off this guy deep into an account. What you got, Kim?
Yeah, I agree. He gets some weird strikeouts up in the zone, and the reason why is when that curveball comes in, if you'll realize I'm just going to hit that thing right back at him, you can drive it out of the ballpark. When you get these strikeouts, is when they're really trying to yank that, and it's no different when you teach our high school kids. Don't try to yank the curveball out of the ballpark. Hit it right back at the pitcher, and it will go. As we always say, they hang them, we bang them. So just hit it right back at them, and you'll be. And they may go out in left field. Depends on your hitting structure, but definitely this is a guy we want to see up in the zone, and we want to attack him up in the zone and leave everything and like I said, hopefully he hasn't realized like me and you have that he should throw the sweeper more, and he sticks to his less than 10%. We can live with that.
100% agree. You're going to see a very common theme with the hitting plans this this go around. It's a lot of these Guardian pitchers pitch the same. So moving on to Parker Ken Messick. Did I get that
Messick,
right?
Parker Messick, yeah.
Hot dog. Look at me go. All right. So chat, he has a fastball, changeup, sinker, slider, cutter, and you're going to be like, oh my God, what do I do as a hitter? Well, let's check out his pitches. All right. His fastball has an average and vertical break. So again, it's going to maintain its lane. It's not going to really feel like it's gaining ground or it's riding up in the zone. Okay. So, and Parker, again, he tends to really likes throwing the fastball up. Parker has the tendency, though, to really let the ball sail arm side, especially heavy to right-handed hitters. His changeup is by far his best pitch. He's really going to rely on that. That's going to be his go-to pitch in strikeout situations or when he's trying to get a ground ball double play. His changeup is so good that it can start at right around probably the belly button and it can end up at the bottom part of the zone or below. He's got a really good changeup. He's going to throw it against lefties too. And he's going to really heavily rely on that pitch when he is in clutch situations and bases and guys are on base. The sinker is straight up. It's going to be for left-handed hitters only. It does not have much sink, and it's probably his worst pitch. So he really just uses it to back lefties off and give them something else to think about. But the bad thing is when that thing, and when he misses and it's up in the zone, it flattens out and it basically becomes a batting practice fastball. So it's going to come into Olson and Baldwin, but again, I don't know how much he's going to use it because his command with it has been iffy at best. The next pitch, the slider, probably his second best pitch. He seems like he only uses it against left-handed hitters, obviously when it's breaking away, but I wouldn't be surprised if he pops it in every once in a while with right-handed hitters just to keep them honest and get them off the changeup away. It has pretty good deception because when you start it on the outside part of the plate, he likes to tunnel that fastball at the top of the zone away from righties. So if it starts there, it's going to break down and in, and that's pretty tough little tunnel if you're a right-handed hitter. So you got to watch out for that. Lefties is going to be hard to stay back on. It's slow and it breaks a lot. And left-handed hitters see that fastball that's coming up and in, and then before they know it, it's a breaking ball that's going down and away from them. So it's that they got to watch out for that. That's going to be tough. Cutter, he's only going to throw it to right-handed hitters to keep them honest. I think he's thrown, yeah, as you can see on the page right here, chat, he's only thrown 8 cutters all year long. So, Ken, what you got on Parker?
Well, Mr. Parker Messick is the lesser of the three known that people know, and to me, he'll be the toughest ride this series. And the reason why is we think Michael and Ozzie have really slowed down the reach on that outside pitch slider outside. Well, he's going to test it for sure. We're going to need Michael and Ozzie to really be disciplined Saturday night. I think he's probably going to spit on Dubon and Olson, which is kind of hard because we do bat them back to back. So if Ronnie can get on base, he won't be able to do that as much. And basically, we don't call it pitch around like most fans. It's just you spit on them like they're gonna hit your pitch kind of deal. Uh, they're going to have to really make sure they man up because he is going to pitch out of the strike zone, and this is where our plate discipline is going. That we look like we're a little bit better. We're going to get tested Saturday night. He's going to me to be the toughest of the 3 rides, just because of what I know our lineup's going to look like, because Walt has not differed. when we've had a right-handed pitcher on the mound, and we need Michael and Ozzy and Yaz to be way better, or still at least get better than they were with that outside pitch, or they're going to be in trouble. And as far as our right-handed batters, now this is a guy that Austin should be able to hit, and we'll see because we're going to get it later, a little bit later too. Even on Bybee, is he's a zone hitter, and if he'll stick to those zones, he should not be swinging at those pitches. So, like you mentioned, Riley should just sit on the fastball and spit on all that stuff away, and he should get a hittable pitch. Because if he does get a changeup away, his hands should be able to adjust and still drive it to right field. So but hey, make no mistake, Mr. Parker Messick will be a tough ride Saturday night.
And one thing I want you guys to understand with these Guardian pitchers is they do not give in. They don't care if it's 3-1, 2-0, 2-1, 3-2. They're going to try to make their pitch, and they're not going to give it into the hitter at all. If you get a good pitch to hit, it's because they made a mistake and you got to hit it. So, with that being said, we're going to the approach. We're going to start with the left-handed hitters. Ken, he is going to try to pound that fastball slider tunnel as you have already discussed. So, if you're a right-handed hitter, or left-handed hitter, excuse me, you better see that ball up in the zone. Because if you see anything belt high early in the count, you need to let it go because it could be a slider that's going to go straight out of the zone and you're going to be swinging 0-0 and then you're down 0-1 automatically. So I would want them to at least see the ball up a little bit in the strike zone, maybe even inside. Like you want to hunt that inside to enter third. And that way, even if it's a slider, you can kind of adjust and still take it the other way. That's where I would be hunting if I was a left-handed hitter. On
I
the
agree.
changeup,
Yeah, I agree.
you're probably not going to see many lefty-lefty changeups. Maybe against Baldwin and Matt Olson, but even if you do, he's got to still make his pitch with it. I would still take it early in the count. If you get behind in the count, you're going to have to sit fastball anyway and adjust. Um, Right-handed hitters, you're going to get the fastball changeup window. You're probably going to see a slider every once in a while when he wants to back you off the plate and keep you honest, so he opens that outside part of the plate back up. So if I'm Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr., I want anything to start high. I don't care if it starts inside, middle, or outside because it's probably going to have the changeup tunnel. And if it's a changeup, it's going to go down and away a little bit. I think his has more downward break than it has away break. So you don't have to worry about that too much. But as long as you see the ball starting up in the strike zone, go attack it. Go attack the shit out of it. But if you see a slider, just take it. And to me, this is the one where the right-handed hitters really got to come in because he's a two-pitch guy to you basically, and this is where you want to do damage. Austin, this guy should fall right into your honey hole. I hope you have a great game this game. Ken, what you got?
Yeah, same thing. I would spit on anything going away from me until I got two strikes. I would make him try to throw that first strike as it's going away. And Austin likes to hit zone, so hopefully he will stay away from that pitch. And I expect, and the one guy that we haven't mentioned, I think could have a big night against Parker Messick is Mauricio Dubon. He is definitely that's his heat zone too. As well as Austin. So it'd be interesting to see how Messick tries to pitch Dubon because Dubon likes the flow away from him, and he likes hard in, and that's Parker Messick. That's what he throws to right-handed hitters: hard in, soft away. And we'll see. I think Mauricio Dubon might have a good night Saturday, but again, this is a tough ride, and we got to have good at bats. And Ryan's right; they will. All the Guardian pitchers are not giving in, so we cannot swing at stuff out of the strike zone. We have to take our walks that night and get his pitch count up. And in that case, it's not because you're trying to get to the bullpen. You're just trying to get him when he's a little tired. You can hit him in the fourth or fifth inning because, again, we're going to get to the bullpen guys. This is a tough ride in their bullpen. If the Braves have the best bullpen or second best bullpen, they're fighting with the Guardians on that top two. So.
Yeah, the Guardians bullpen is not something that you want to get into. I mean, yes, you want to get into it to tire it out, but you don't want to be getting into that bullpen late in the game and you're down. Let's just put it that way. On to game 3, Mr. Tanner Bybee His main pitch that he throws is the cutter, which to me presents more like a slider. Cutters normally have that kind of, the cut, maybe a little bit of a break to it. This cutter has like a slider break to me. So for me, the pitch shape is a slider. Um, it doesn't. The cutter does not have a great deal of break and can start middle and belt high and end up off of the plate. So if he is locating it, it's gonna tunnel very well with the fastball. But if he does it and he hangs it up in the zone, the ball is gonna get hit pretty dang hard. Fastball has a decent carry to it through the zone. Every once in a while, it's gonna jump on the hitter. He averages 92 to 94 on the fastball, but he can touch 96 if he reaches back. He wants to keep the fastball up and away to both left-handers and right-handers, but he has the tendency to yank it back across the middle of the plate. This has gotten him in trouble a few times this year. The changeup, he heavily uses it against left-handed hitters. Imagine that. This is going to be his out pitch against lefties, especially with guys on base. He has a big-time tendency, though, to yank it and hang it in the middle of the zone, or he tends to sail it up and away. So he has a hard time early on this year commanding the changeup. That's going to be a key for him. The sinker is basically just to keep right-handed hitters honest, but he doesn't have a whole lot of movement on it, so he basically has to start that sucker on the inside corner to get that thing to dive off the plate so the right-handed hitters don't hit it into the seats. So let's get to a little bit more of the off speed. His curveball is kind of loopy out of the hand. He does get chased with it, but I think the main reason why he gets chased with that pitch, Ken, is because it pops out of the hand so easily and you see it so good and you think you can just absolutely crush it, but it ends up out of the zone. And his best pitch for me seems to be the sweeper, and that's it. And it's a brand new pitch. It has the chance to be really, really good. I've seen one against Perez where it was just absolutely disgusting, but then he threw two more that he couldn't locate. So you're probably not going to see a whole lot of that pitch. What you got, Ken?
A good breakdown on Tanner. He is, we struggle against Walker. It's kind of the same pitch assortment coming at us. This is a challenge to Matt, Drake, Michael, and Ozzie. More of the first three. Hit the ball middle backside. He can't get you out. As you found out the hard way from Walker, if we try to pull him, we're going to be in trouble. And so I think that's good that they've seen a guy that kind of has the same pitch assortment. You're right; he can gear it up just a little. He can gear it up a little bit more speed, but velocity doesn't affect our batters. Than one or two of them. So this could be a big night. Could go both ways. It's a feast or famine night. But if Matt and Drake and Michael hit the ball middle backside, I think we can hit him. And if they decide to get pull happy, we may be in a tough situation like we were against Walker, where we're having a tough time to score. I do think for our right-handed batters, this is a tough ride for Ronald. Ronald has got to realize that he needs to try to catch his fastball up in the counts. And I don't have a problem with Ronald being very aggressive early in the count, because I think if Ronald gets deep in the count, he'll have a tough time getting a hit. So I want Ronnie to be very aggressive. First fastball he sees, let's go to work. And as far as Austin, Austin should be able to hit him a little bit. I don't think that he can really get him out with the off speed. So as we've noted, Austin needs to hunt fastballs anyhow. This would be a perfect pitcher to hunt fastballs. And if Austin's right, like we think he's getting right, this could be a home run to dead center. The patented Austin home run where he hits it into the water. This could be the one he does it in against Tanner.
Yeah, I agree. So, with that being said, Ken, let's hop into these approaches that I have for us. All right, right-handed hitters. I know, shocker. We really need to hunt the fastball slider window. That is how he is going to attack the righties. He is going to try to throw the fastball up in the zone. He's going to try to tunnel the cutter that he calls it, or what I think is a slider, off of that to get you out in front or to get you to roll over the ball. Try to see the fastball inside and make him paint. You have to make him paint the outside part of the plate before you even think about offering it. You want to see a fastball up and in the zone, so you want to kind of get ready for that. Left-handed hitters, it's going to be a fastball changeup window, so you got to see the ball up. He likes to paint the fastball up and away because all he's got to do is just drop the changeup right off of that window, which, to be fair, he has not been very successful with it this year. He has let a lot of them sail and he's let a lot of them yank back over the plate, but that is what he is going to try to do to lefties. Early in the count, see the ball middle and up. Again, you got to make him paint. You got to make him paint the outside corner consistently before you go out there and offer at it. But if you see a ball up and in or anywhere from inside to, I would even probably go middle, maybe a little middle away, I go and attack it. Be aggressive on it. Be aware that he may throw the cutter inside a little bit to you as well, just again to keep you honest and back you off the plate. But it's only going to be a show me pitch, in my opinion, unless he cannot get you out with the changeup. Then he might try to bury it and get you to swing over the top. But I'd hunt the fastball changeup window and try to see the ball up and inner part of the plate. Ken, what you think?
Yeah, I agree. That's what I said. We got to hit the ball the other way from the left side, and the right side's got to be able to hunt the fastball and don't miss when he gets it up in there. And again, to me, this is a feast or famine night. This is where you challenge your hitters to have the right approach, and you should be able to score. And if they get a little pull happy from the left side, or they are missing their fastballs. What I mean by missing, those where you see them foul them back or foul him over the dugout or pull him down the line foul, and they have to go hit his off speed. It could be a long night, but I think we're gonna have a good night. I like our swings, most of our lineup, and like I said, this is a big night. And I kind of like having 30 in the lineup against this guy. I think 30 is the prime guy to have our offense roll. So, um, you nailed it. We gotta be ready to look for those pitches, and we just can't miss. And different than Parker Messick, where we're maybe not being as aggressive, making him try to get in the zone. With Tanner, we're going to be very aggressive and go hunt pitches and drive them.
All right, we got two bullpen arms. We're not doing the whole bullpen because that would take way too long. So we're doing the top two. And Eric Sabrowski is a lefty out of their bullpen. He's got a very good fastball. And it's got elite carry. Now it's going to be 94 to 96, so it's not overpowering, but the ball can jump on you because of his invertical break. The slider has elite spin, but he tries to drop it in at the top of the strike zone where it's less effective. So it could end up being a little bit of a cement mixer, as John Smoltz calls it, which, if Matt Olson and Drake Baldwin react correctly, they could put it into the chop house this weekend. When he does, however, get that thing in the bottom of the zone, that thing just takes off. It is a nasty pitch, and it is hard to hit, and it's going to be even harder to lay off for the left-handed hitters. His curveball and his slider is elite, but his curveball is by far the better of the breaking balls. It has 2,600 RPMs, revolutions per minute, and he can start that thing at the top of the zone and even a little bit of above it, and that ball is going to break down below the zone. So he's gonna try to get you. He's gonna try to get lefties and righties to really go after that breaking ball because you're gonna see it out of the hand so well, and it's gonna just drop right below the zone. So if I'm a hitter, you got to attack the fastball slider window. You got to see the ball up in the zone. That's going to be your approach. And anything that starts belt higher or lower, you got to lay off until you get to two strikes. You got to make him paint in those areas as the slider and curveball. He's got to prove to me that he can paint the outside down and away area before I even offer at that. Otherwise, I'm hunting heater up in the zone against him. Ken, what do you got?
Let's try to have a lead before he comes in the game. No,
He's nasty.
he's very nasty. And for Braves fans who are not really familiar with the Padres, he's Morejon coming at us. Everybody, Braves fans are always scared when
Yeah.
Morejon comes into the game. It's identical stuff. But we've hit him deep a couple times, and it's like Ryan's saying, you got to get the ball up. You can't miss the fastball. Um, he's just a tough ride, and most time you want relief pitchers to work. He's one that if he had a quick inning, he had a quick inning. I think you got to go attack him early when he's throwing his fastball, and you just can't miss. But it's going to be tough. The problem we have is we don't have a lot of right-handed batters that this would favor. This is where you get kind of like this is where if you had some little bit better right-handed hitters, I mean, in there, like Hassan Kim could probably maybe do a little damage against him with his approach. But this is going to be a tough ride. So let's try to have a lead. But if we are, um, let's hunt that fastball and let's try to hit the fastball and let's just try to make him throw the slider in the strike zone because he can get a little off with his slider movement and maybe he's throwing out of the zone. We get him some walks and put some pressure on him. You fully expect him to come into the game when we do have Baldwin, Olson, that part of the lineup up. So it's going to be a challenge for Drake and Matt to look for the fastball, but they're also two very good hitters. So sometime this weekend that's going to come up, and Braves fans better not be going to the restroom or get a drink. They should be in the seats because that's going to be a fun matchup to see Dombrowski try to get out Baldwin and Olson. That's what we pay the money to go all these ball games for is these matchups, and that's going to be a great matchup this weekend.
That'd be a really good matchup. And just so here you can see the pitch usage per batter hand. So you got the left-hander on the left side, righties on the right. He has a lot more fastball dominant against right-handed hitters. He is still fastball dominant against lefties, but you can see he has increased usage of both the slider and breaking ball. So it's going to be a little bit tougher ride for the lefties. So that only leaves one more pitcher to break down Ken against the approach of the hitters, and that is going to be Mr. Cade Smith. And that's a lot of orange and red right there. So don't be fooled, chat. Don't be fooled by his slow starts so far this year. Let me just put it to you that way. He is a very elite pitcher. Cade Smith has a fastball that sits 95 to 97. Sits 95, 97. I want you to understand that. He also has elite extension. So extension means the ball leaves the hand late. It gets basically to home plate way quicker than what it appears. So what the hitter's probably seeing is not 95 to 97, Ken. He's probably seeing 99 to 101. So the fastball jumps on the guys. Splitter is elite. I think he has 500 revolutions per minute, which is absolutely insane for a splitter or a changeup. That means the thing is absolutely falling off the daggum table. Sweeper, you guessed it, it's elite as well, and it's going to be his out pitch against right-handed hitters. And splitter is obviously going to be the out pitch for the lefties. The only approach that I can give my right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters is pray. Pray that he is off because he is a tough one to hit. But in all seriousness, right-handed hitters, you got to see the ball inside because he's going to try to tunnel you to death on that slider or sweeper away. Get a fastball up that starts inside or inner third, and if you get it, you better not miss it because the sweeper is going to be coming right after that. Left-handers, you need to hunt the fastball split window. So you got to make sure the ball starts up in the zone because when I tell you his splitter falls off the daggum table, it falls off the daggum table, Ken. So you got to get that fastball that starts belly button high. Belt's too close. I mean, you're looking maybe a little bit below the letters is kind of where you want the pitch to start before you really start hunting that pitch. If you get to 2 strikes, good luck. If you get a fastball first pitch, second pitch, and the first couple pitches, you better swing the bat. And you better make sure you hit that daggum thing hard because when you get behind in the count against this guy, you're not making it out of there more times than not. Ken, what do you think about Cade Smith?
I love Cade Smith, and I went on a podcast up in New York, and we do a preseason top 10, and most of the New York guys had Cade Smith as the number 2 reliever in baseball. Nobody in the Braves probably know who Cade Smith is, but the Yankees get to see him a lot. So that tells you the respect. I'm just saying that tells you the respect the Yankees writers have for Cade Smith. He is a very tough ride, and it's just simple. Approach against him. The closest thing I can think of with Cade is Jose Alvarado with the Phillies for Braves fans, where you just had to hunt the fastball and you spit on all his off speed. That would be the kind of approach that you're going to have. You're going to get him in the 9th inning. Most likely that means we're tied or behind by a run. He's going to come in a closing situation most likely, and the thing to do is, I used to always say when Jose Alvarado come in, make him throw you strikes. And we had games where Alvarado would walk the building, and we would beat him. It's the same kind of deal. We got to make him throw strikes. Brian's hit it right on the nail. We got to look middle in as hitters, and we got to spit on the stuff going away from us. But as we're joking, but we're also being serious. Let's try to have a lead this weekend because these two guys on the back end of their bullpen are going to be very difficult. Just like the Guardians are probably in their hitters meeting go, let's have our lead this weekend because we get to the back of that bullpen. Suarez and Iglesias are going to be difficult. So this is a series that nobody's going to want to see the back end of these bullpens because they are elite. And but if we're going to have an approach, see the ball middle in, spit on everything going away. That's pretty simple.
Absolutely agree with you, Ken. Bullpens are going to be in play. Braves, they gotta get to the starters. The starters are the weaker of the two pitching links for the Guardians. I don't think there's a question of that. So with that being said, I've done all my research and I've got my pick to click in. Ken, who is yours first? I want to know who you're going with. Who's your pick to click?
I'm going with Big Thick, Austin Riley.
Thick Austin Riley.
I think that being a zone hitter against the Cleveland Guardians is exactly. I complain because I want him to be more pitch recognition. He does. I'm not saying Austin doesn't recognize the pitch, but I think he gets zoned in on. I'm going to swing at this zone. This is the kind of guy you want to because if he'll sit on his zones, these are his heat zones, his heat map when he's going well. And like I said, I expect Austin to. I guess he don't have a home run yet, does he? No.
Nope.
He'll have his first home run this weekend. I expect Austin Riley to have a really good series. And if I had to pick a runner-up, that would be Matt Olson. I think Matt Olson's going to have a good series as well. So Riley, I picked a click, and if there was a runner-up, it would be Matt Olson.
I like it. Ken, you had one of them that I was really thinking about, and it was Matt Olson. The deciding factor is Matty's had a little bit of trouble with the changeup this year so far, and he's going to see a lot of them this weekend, Ken. But we got one gentleman who handles the changeup kind of well, and that's going to be Mr. Drake Baldwin. And I know, chat, you're like, oh my God, that is so predictable. It's Drake Baldwin, the Braves' best hitter, obviously. But look, when you break it down, you can look at the numbers right here that I have pulled up. He's hitting 438 off of four-seam fastballs. He's going to see a lot of four-seam fastballs this weekend. And then he's hitting 273 off of changeups, which is pretty dang good considering he's seen 42 changeups so far this year. So, and since he's going to see a lot of them this series, Ken, that is going to be my guy to click this series. I know it's a little bit of a I know it's basic. I know it's not fun, but that's who I'm going with. He's going to have a really good weekend, Ken.
For him to have a very good weekend, I think Braves fans should be excited. That means the rest of the lineup kind of hit around him as well because I could see the Guardians spitting on Drake this weekend and pitching around him. That's part of the reason why Matt and Austin need to have good series. But Drake Baldwin, I picked to click, is never a bad idea, guys.
Never. Rake balled him.
Okay.
But, chat, I hope you enjoyed the first segment of the Braves Hip Coil, presented to you by me and Ken Anderson. It was very fun to break this down with you, Ken. I hope you enjoyed it just like I did, and I hope you come back on with me, buddy.
I will. Yeah, I had fun. Go Braves.
All right, chat, we're out of here. Let's have a good weekend and go Braves. There we go.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.